As you gain experience as a driver, you're going to be challenged by a variety of different tracks, and thus a variety of corners. Some tracks have been laid out by professionals with surveyors, blueprints, and slide rulers, while others were created by a guy with a tractor and a chainsaw and a vision for what he was looking for. Regardless of the differences, there are certain types of corners that you'll encounter again and again. So, we're going to define them, so you can retain them in your inventory of racing terminology. Important things to know as you explore new tracks in iRacing. One of the more common corners that you'll encounter is a constant radius corner, named so because throughout the corner its radius never changes. For examples of this type of corner, take a look at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, which has several 90-degree corners to choose from. To navigate this type of corner, you'd look for the apex at the middle and adjust your turn-in and track-out point accordingly. You can see from this overhead visual that the car gets to a definitive point at the end of the braking zone and adjusts trajectory at the turn-in, beginning the radius through the corner. If the turn-in is executed properly, you should be right on target for the apex here, and then onto the track-out here. As you can see, we've created the largest constant radius possible. That means speed. With an increasing radius corner, the radius changes throughout the corner, starting small and growing at the exit of the corner. This type of corner tends to be a lot of fun from a driving standpoint because you can turn in a little early and pick up an early apex. But you still end up with plenty of pavement on the exit of the corner as you're tracking out. This can mean big speed and big fun, depending on the size of the corner. The decreasing radius corner is a tough one to master. As its name implies, it is a corner that begins with a large radius that gets progressively smaller throughout. A classic example of a decreasing radius corner is turns 1 and 2 at Lime Rock Park. Although this is by name 2 corners, it's almost treated as one. The trick here is that the initial radius of the corner will allow you to carry large amounts of speed, but as you get into the turn and the radius begins to shrink, you must slow the vehicle down in order to meet the grip threshold of the smaller radius. Notice how the vehicle can carry a lot of speed into the first part of the corner, but as the radius decreases, notice that there needs to be a speed adjustment at the halfway point in order to get through the smaller radius of turn 2. The primary reason this type of corner is so difficult is because you have to slow down mid-corner, which disrupts the balance of the car and can cause both understeer or oversteer depending on the vehicle being driven and your driving techniques. Your average 180-degree hairpin turn can be a unique challenge and can be handled in a variety of ways depending on your driving style or the type of car that you're driving. On the face of it, it would appear that simply turning in and apexing in the middle of the corner would be the most efficient way to handle this type of corner, particularly if you're dealing with a fairly small radius. However, it doesn't necessarily give you the optimal exit speed. Another option for negotiating a hairpin is to treat it like 2 separate corners, with apexes at 1/4 and 3/4 distance around the turn. You enter the corner and pass the first apex, run wide in the middle of the corner, and rotate the car to aim it towards the second apex and onto the exit. This is particularly effective if the corner has a relatively large radius and the car that you're driving is pretty nimble and has good power to accelerate quickly. The third option, and the most common approach, is to simply treat the hairpin like a late apex corner. At the end of the braking zone, you'll turn in very late and aim for an apex that is about 3/4 of the way around the corner. This allows you to get back to power early and optimize your exit speed. However, you do have to be careful about using this method in traffic. Your slower entry speed will certainly make you susceptible to being passed by a competitor. Next, we're going to categorize the types of corners and see how all of this looks once you put it together.